Hi, Heatherettes. This is Lynnea and Dan finally reunited via the Google Hangouts. So it's been a couple weeks. We missed about 3 episodes, so we're going to do a really fast recap on those 3 and then talk about the top 3 since the finale is this week. So we left off at episode 9. So episode 10 was Prancing Queens, where they all had to do their little dance routine as like half man, half woman. I thought that was a massive challenge to do all of that.
I thought they all did really well too.
I think, I don't know, I thought that some of the mashups, because some of the dances, like the one that, was it Trixie and Ginger had to do together, and it was like country, but also like the robot. That made no sense. And Katya and Violet won, I believe.
That was so good, yeah. I think Violet was really the star of that one.
Yeah, they both did a really nice job.
Trixie went home.
Again. And we all knew Trixie was going to go home again anyway. They never keep the queen that they eliminate, which I think defeats the whole purpose of having a queen come back.
Right.
So Trixie went home, which I think we all saw that coming, but unfortunately that was the case. Did they, for the runway looks, they were just the same ones though, right, that they danced in? Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that the flamenco looks were the best, by far. Okay, episode 11 was the Hello Kitty episode.
Hello Kitty, oh God.
So weird. It was so weird.
I still don't understand the appeal of Hello Kitty and how it's lasted like 15 years.
I don't know. She's got her whole franchise. My favorite part of that whole episode, though, was when it might have been RuPaul or somebody else comes in and is like, oh, surprise, there's another aspect to the challenge. And he brings in those like blank Hello Kitty heads so that they just have to decorate it themselves. And they all put them on without decorating them. So they're just 2 eyes on this white head. And they're all walking around and running into each other because nobody can see anything. That was really, really funny. And I thought that was hilarious. And they were all like, what the hell's going on? And then you just had Hello Kitty like standing on the head the whole time. It was so creepy.
And then they had their characters that they had to make, and I really liked Ginger's. Ginger had a really good one. It's something that Hello Kitty, because the point of it was to make a friend for Hello Kitty.
Right. Like, as much as I enjoyed Katya's, she would never, like, Hello Kitty would never hang out with her.
Right.
And I was like, you're asking a bunch of drag queens to make something that's, like, suitable for ages 5 and up. Excuse me. Like, that's never going to happen.
Right. That was just stupid.
Katya went home, unfortunately. I didn't think she did that poorly. She did really well, but her Hello Kitty wasn't, like, age appropriate. And then they didn't like her outfit. But I would have much rather seen her stay than Kennedy. And everybody's all up in arms over that lip sync for your life because it was awesome. But then Kennedy jumped off the stage, which everybody's saying you're not supposed to do that. Like, that's a rule now. And apparently it doesn't apply to that.
And yeah, because Kennedy was saying there were no rules about the boundaries during the lip sync.
But after Mimi I'm First picked up that other biddy, then I thought it was made a rule that you couldn't do that. Like, there was no more leaving the stage.
I still think at that point in the competition, whether you eliminate Kennedy or Katya, what does it really matter? So I really didn't think Katya was going to win anyway.
Right. Well, if Kennedy is one of those where if anybody goes up against her in the lip sync, like, it's been nice knowing you. And
the thing is, because they both had to lip sync once beforehand, but the song Kennedy had to do was so different from this one, and she did such a different style with it, and Katya was doing pretty much the same thing she did in her last lip sync.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think overall Katya's done better in the competition than Kennedy. And I kind of feel like at this point, when you're in the last few episodes, the lip sync counts less because you have more of a track record to look at. Like the first few episodes, the lip sync is going to count for a lot just because the queens haven't done much yet. So how do you really know? But at the end, I don't think it holds as much weight. And yet Kennedy's like she won the lip sync, but it's kind of like we've been saying all along, how much does the lip sync matter? And it's not consistent with how much it matters. It's just kind of helps to like confirm what RuPaul wants to happen. The last episode is when they're filming the Born Naked music video, and it's the top 4, and then whoever gets eliminated gets edited out of the video, which I think is fabulous.
I thought it was a really nice episode to get to know some of the queens a little bit more, especially Kennedy.
Oh yeah, because they did their little like Tic Tac lunches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said because you texted me when you were watching the episode and you were like, Pearl was really smart this episode because they were fishing for the story about like, oh, I was abused as a child, or I've had huge issues with my family, or I'm really depressed or whatever. And she wasn't giving in. Like she kept alluding to, yeah, I've had some horrible things happen in my life, but we don't need to talk about it.
And then on the runway, RuPaul is just like, trying to get pick it out of her.
Right.
She holds up the picture. She's like, tell us exactly what happened at age 5. I just like that Pearl won't give into the reality TV bullshit of it.
She's too flase-da for that.
See, I thought she was so flase-da at the beginning that I wouldn't like her, but she's so full circle flase-da that it works.
Hashtag full circle flase-da. RuPaul asked them on the stage the whole defend your life speech or whatever. And the bitter old lady brigade had a lot to say about the younger 2 queens and not a lot to say about themselves. And Violet and Pearl just talked about themselves, which I think this has happened before. And we have said we would much rather see queens who are mature and talk about what they've done and let their work speak for themselves than try to tear other people down, because it's also about who's going to be a good representative of the show. So then when they get to Untucked, it all just comes loose. The younger girls were kind of like, well, screw you guys. We didn't throw you under the bus, but you guys, I guess, have each other's backs. The younger 2 were the ones who were basically getting attacked, and yet Ginger and Kennedy were the ones who were freaking out about it.
Yeah. Ginger and Kennedy both said it's because they do pageants. When they do the pageant question and answer portion, you have to answer everything. And then when Pearl went out to be alone, and then Ginger went out to bother her, basically.
Right. I was like, leave her alone. Just stop.
Pearl basically said, you fell for their trap.
Yeah.
They wanted you to go after us, and you did.
It was kind of like a heated discussion anyway, and Pearl and Violet, they just weren't going to engage. And yet Ginger kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and so did Kennedy a little bit.
Kennedy started screaming.
You guys just they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Just stop. Stop talking.
That's all we have to say about episode 12. Kennedy sashayed away. She's not going to be in the video.
Right.
So top 3 is Ginger, Violet, and Pearl.
I don't know who I want to win. People on Twitter and Facebook, they're saying, well, in the past, it's been set up a certain way, kind of. They know it's been evident in the past who's going to win. Whether you like it or not, everybody knew last season that Bianca was going to win. And this season, it kind of feels like nobody really knows.
It could be anyone.
Except that based on Twitter and Facebook and all of those platforms, people are pretty divided. It's either going to be Pearl or Violet if the fans actually choose.
I just hate all the negativity from the fans where everyone's team not Ginger. Why do we have to be like that? Just pick your favorite.
Right. Well, that's how last year it was team anyone but Courtney.
It's so pathetic. It's so stupid.
It really is. It's cast your vote and just be done with it.
And the thing is, if you go off of how they did in the competition, all personal feelings aside, it should be between Ginger and Violet.
But they've got this whole redemption storyline for Pearl.
I know.
Which just kills me. Like, and I do like Pearl, I do, but I just feel like she's been edited to the top.
And the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race should be the best of the best. We talked about this, how it's not that they're all equally qualified that makes it hard. It's that they're all equally unqualified. Like, the things that brought them to the top, to me, seem overshadowed by the reasons why they shouldn't win.
Exactly. And people on social media, that's exactly what they're saying, is the only thing they can, they nitpick on all the other things, whereas last year it was like, we want Adore to win because she's so relatable. We want Bianca to win because she's so polished and so mature. And this season, it's not that I want Violet to win because she's good at multiple things. It's I don't want her to win because I don't see her being mature enough. And I don't want Pearl to win because I don't think she has the right enthusiasm for it. And I don't want Ginger to win because I just don't think she's a very nice person. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. And I have noticed that in the past, people have been so upset because they're like, well, like they're upset with the show for being too predictable. And they're like, well, everybody knows who's going to win, so what's the point? And this year, everybody's upset because they're like, well, there's not a clear-cut winner this year. I'm like, well, which way do you want it? You can't have your cake and eat it too.
The good thing about it, though, is that no matter who wins, there's going to be a large segment of the viewership that's going to be unsatisfied. So maybe this year it will actually be RuPaul's decision to make.
Yeah, that's true. No matter how you look at it, people are going to be upset.
I think the way my compass is pointing currently is towards Team Ginger.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying not to be neutral about it, thinking about it in terms of like longevity and who's going to be able to fulfill their obligations. And I was always kind of between Pearl and Violet, and I just think Pearl can do that, and she can maintain her cool. I don't know. I feel like she's collected enough to be able to do that. And if you have someone who's kind of not a spaz, but like Violet's very reactive.
She kind of flies off the handle sometimes.
I just think that Pearl will probably get the crown. So I guess I'm Team Pearl because of
Violet already has a crown.
That's true. No reason for her to snatch it up twice. I felt like last year's reunion show was actually enjoyable for me to watch, even though I knew who was going to win, because there was a lot of interesting things that happened during Untucked, and there were a lot of moments with like the video messages from the families that they could go back to, and had characters like Laganja who really like shook things up. So in that way, it was actually interesting to go back and recap the whole season. Whereas this season, I'm like, what are they going to talk about? Because as much as we love the new format of Untucked, I felt like the episodes themselves they didn't have enough substance to them.
They weren't memorable.
Like sometimes they did, but it was little moments that you wouldn't go back to review. So I'll be interested to see if next season they include like that format of Untucked, or if they go back to the way they were. RuPaul's got to know that people aren't thrilled with this season. There are so many people who hate this season for reasons that I guess I kind of get it. It was a different season. I still can't put my finger on why. I feel like there's a lot of reasons. So it'll be interesting to see what changes RuPaul makes to either like bring it back to the way it was or go a different direction. But there's no harm in just trying something different. I didn't think it was a bad season. It was just kind of different than what we've seen in the past.
At least we waited till the end to make these statements.
That's right.
Not after the second episode.
God, exactly. So that was kind of our quick recap of the last few episodes. This will kind of be the format that Dan and I use. We might do a quick episode to kind of recap what happens after we find out who snatched the crown, and hopefully we'll be back for season 8 via the Google Hangouts. So let us know what you think of the new format, and we will try to make adjustments to make it better, or if you like this format, we'll keep it the same way. And we'll keep in touch throughout the summer. I've got a couple of more videos coming using, let's say, unseen footage from our other episodes. So some blooper reels, some funny moments that maybe didn't make the final cut to what you guys have seen so far. So watch for those, and we will see you for season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Bye.